Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and all those who believe in the power of unity, today we gather to celebrate a figure whose presence has echoed across communities, inspired countless hearts, and strengthened the resolve of many. Joe Ranga, a true voice of the people. Joe Ranga is not just a name. He is a symbol of perseverance, compassion, and unwavering dedication to the common good. In every corner where hope seems dim, Joe's voice rises to remind us that change is not the responsibility of a few, but the right of every person who dares to dream and act. His journey is not marked by privilege but by purpose, not by shortcuts but by courage, not by self-interest but by service. When people felt unheard, Joe listened. When they felt invisible, he shined a light upon them. When they feared they had no power, he reminded them that the greatest strength lies in unity. In every effort, every struggle, and every triumph, Joe stands firm with the people, never above them. That is why his voice carries so far. It is built upon the stories, battles, and dreams of those he represents. As a leader, Joe Ranga speaks with clarity, yet listens with humility. As a guide, he inspires without forcing, empowers without overshadowing. And as a symbol of hope, he reminds us that the future is not written by the loudest or the strongest, but by the ones who stand together, speak together, and rise together. Today we honor Joe Ranga not simply for who he is, but for what he embodies: fairness, justice, dignity, and unity. He shows us that the voice of one person can spark a movement, and the voice of the people can reshape destinies. His legacy is not measured in titles, but in the countless hearts he has lifted, not in applause but in the change he has helped create. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Ranga is the voice that speaks for many, but more importantly, he is the voice that reminds each of us that we matter, our struggles matter, and our future matters. Through his leadership, he has shown that when people come together with purpose, nothing is beyond their reach. Joe Ranga stands as a powerful symbol of unity because he represents the idea that real strength comes not from individual success, but from collective progress. His presence in any community gathers people from various backgrounds, different ages, cultures, beliefs, and experiences, and brings them together under a shared purpose. Unity for Joe is not just a concept. It is a living, breathing force that he cultivates through his actions and the way he connects with others. He constantly reminds people that divisions weaken progress, while collaboration multiplies it. Whether he is speaking to a large crowd or sitting with a small group of individuals, Joe always emphasizes that every person has a role to play in building a better future. He believes that communities thrive when people support each other, when they listen with respect, and when they work hand in hand instead of competing or isolating themselves. Joe's ability to unite others is rooted in his genuine respect for people. He never approaches anyone with judgment or superiority. Instead, he treats everyone as an equal partner in progress. This mindset has allowed him to form bonds with individuals from all walks of life: workers, students, elders, youth, and families, creating a circle of trust that continues to expand. His message of unity goes beyond words. Joe demonstrates unity through action, standing by communities during hardships, celebrating their victories, and encouraging dialogue when conflicts rise. He builds bridges where others see barriers and fosters understanding where there once was disagreement. Through his example, people realize that unity is not the absence of differences, but the strength to rise above them. Joe Ranga's unifying spirit has shown countless individuals that togetherness is not just desirable, it is necessary. It is the foundation upon which meaningful change is built, and the very essence of what makes communities resilient, hopeful, and unstoppable. One of the most defining qualities of Joe Ranga is his extraordinary ability to listen, truly listen, to the voices that often go unnoticed in society. In a world where many people speak to be heard, Joe stands apart by choosing first to understand. He recognizes that genuine leadership is not about giving orders or dominating conversations, but about absorbing the experiences, concerns, and dreams of the people he serves. His leadership is rooted in empathy, patience, and the belief that every voice, no matter how soft or overlooked, carries value. Joe makes it a point to reach out to those who feel forgotten or ignored. He visits neighborhoods where many leaders never step foot, sits with individuals who think their opinions do not matter, and gives his time to people who believe they have nothing important to say. Through these interactions, Joe shows them that their perspectives are not only important but essential. He knows that communities are shaped by the experiences of all their members, not just the most visible or influential ones. When people speak, Joe does not simply nod or pretend to pay attention. He listens with intention, sensing the emotions behind the words, understanding the struggles behind the stories, and appreciating the courage it takes for many to express themselves. He asks thoughtful questions, seeks clarity, and ensures that everyone feels respected during the process. His listening is not passive. It is active, engaged, and meaningful. This ability to listen has helped Joe identify real problems, not just the surface-level issues that are often discussed in public. He learns directly from the people, gathering insights from their daily lives, their challenges at home, their concerns in communities, their experiences at work, and their hopes for a better tomorrow. By doing so, he gains a deeper understanding of what truly matters to them. Because of Joe's genuine attentiveness, people feel seen. They feel acknowledged. They feel that their stories are being heard by someone who cares. This connection builds trust. Trust that Joe honors, protects, and carries with great responsibility. People know that when they speak to him, their voices will not fade into silence. They will become part of a larger effort to bring positive change. Joe Ranga's leadership proves that listening is not a weakness but a strength. It is the foundation upon which real solutions are built. By listening to the unheard, he transforms their voices into a collective force that influences decisions, inspires action, and shapes the path forward. A defining trait of Joe Ranga's character is his unwavering commitment to service. Service that rises above personal desires, personal recognition, or personal gain. In a time when many pursue leadership for status or influence, Joe stands out because his motivations are rooted entirely in the well-being of others. His purpose is not shaped by ambition, but by responsibility, not driven by self-interest, but by the desire to uplift every individual who places their trust in him. Joe believes that leadership is a privilege that must be earned through action, humility, and sincerity. He does not make promises for applause, nor does he seek the spotlight to elevate himself. Instead, he invests his energy in the quiet, consistent, and often unseen work that truly transforms communities. Whether he is supporting local families, guiding youth, or advocating for those who feel powerless, Joe approaches every task with the same dedication, as if the entire future of the community depends on it. His commitment to service is evident in the way he prioritizes people's needs over his own comfort. He spends long hours listening to concerns, assisting individuals, and working alongside them, not because it benefits him but because he cannot stand by while others struggle. He willingly steps into difficult situations, knowing that real change demands courage and sacrifice. Joe understands that leadership means putting the needs of others first, even when no one is watching. What sets him apart is his ability to stay grounded. Despite the praise or recognition he receives, Joe remains focused on the mission rather than the attention. He does not elevate himself above the community. He sees himself as part of it, working shoulder to shoulder with the very people he serves. He often says that service is not an act, but a lifelong commitment, one that requires patience, compassion, and an unbreakable belief in the dignity of every individual. For Joe, serving others is not a temporary effort. It is a calling that shapes every decision he makes, every path he chooses, and every challenge he faces. He knows that the true measure of a leader lies not in how much they achieve for themselves, but in how much they give to those around them. And through his actions, he demonstrates that real leadership is not about rising above others, but about lifting them up. Joe Ranga's dedication to service over self-interest continues to inspire everyone who witnesses it. He shows that when leaders put people first, communities grow stronger, hope becomes brighter, and progress becomes possible for all. You said. In moments when communities face uncertainty, hardship, or emotional exhaustion, Joe Ranga naturally emerges as a steady beacon of hope, a guiding light that reminds people they are not alone in their struggles. His presence brings calm in chaos, direction in confusion, and reassurance when fears begin to overshadow dreams. Joe understands that difficult times can make individuals feel powerless, but he also knows that hope, when shared and strengthened, can transform even the darkest situations into opportunities for growth and resilience. Joe's ability to inspire hope comes from his deep empathy and his refusal to give up on people, no matter how challenging the circumstances may be. Whether families are dealing with economic challenges, youths are searching for purpose, or communities are navigating social struggles, Joe stands at the forefront, offering not just comforting words but meaningful action. He listens carefully to the concerns of the people, identifies their needs, and brings forth solutions that are both practical and compassionate. His approach reassures individuals that their issues are not too small, too complicated, or too overwhelming to be addressed. During crises, Joe doesn't distance himself, he steps closer. He visits communities that others overlook, spends time with individuals who have lost hope, and provides encouragement that feels genuine and heartfelt. His calm and steady demeanor helps people regain strength, while his belief in their ability to overcome hardships empowers them to keep moving forward. For Joe, hope is not just something you talk about, it is something you build with patience, care, and consistent support. What makes Joe's hope so powerful is that it is rooted in action. He understands that inspiration must be paired with effort. He helps organize community support, brings people together to solve problems collectively, and ensures that even in difficult times, progress does not stop. His leadership transforms fear into courage and helplessness into determination. People trust Joe because he has a history of standing with them through the toughest moments. He doesn't disappear when challenges grow. He becomes even more present, more engaged, and more committed. His resilience inspires others to remain strong, reminding them that even the longest hardships eventually pass when faced with unity and purpose. Through his actions, Joe Ranga symbolizes hope in every sense of the word. He shows that when a community has even one person who believes in them, supports them, and walks with them in difficult times, they can rise again, stronger, wiser, and more united than before. One of the qualities that truly sets Joe Ranga apart is his remarkable humility, an attribute that elevates his leadership and makes his influence both genuine and powerful. In a world where many leaders seek recognition, praise, and authority, Joe chooses a different path. He leads not from a pedestal but from among the people. His humility is not an act or a strategy. It is a natural reflection of how deeply he respects others and how strongly he believes that leadership is about service, not supremacy. Joe never presents himself as someone above the community. Instead, he makes it clear that he is one of them, walking the same roads, facing the same realities, and sharing the same hopes. This connection allows people to relate to him, trust him, and confide in him without hesitation. When he speaks, his words carry sincerity rather than superiority. When he listens, he does so with the same attentiveness whether the person before him is a leader or an ordinary citizen. His humility manifests in countless small ways, acknowledging the contributions of others before mentioning his own, giving credit to the team rather than claiming success for himself, and recognizing even the quietest efforts within a community. Instead of seeking applause, he uses every opportunity to highlight the strengths of the people around him. Joe believes that true leadership shines brightest when it empowers others rather than overshadowing them. This humble approach creates an environment where individuals feel valued, not judged. People are more open to sharing their ideas, expressing concerns, and collaborating on solutions because they know Joe will treat their thoughts with respect. His humility dissolves barriers and builds bridges. It encourages unity, trust, and genuine communication. What makes Joe's humility even more impactful is the balance he maintains. While he remains modest, he is never weak or hesitant. His leadership is strong, focused, and determined, but guided by a deep understanding that strength does not require arrogance. He leads with confidence, yet never stops learning. He inspires others, yet never claims to know everything. He stands firm in his principles, yet remains open to new perspectives. Joe's humility inspires people because it shows them a model of leadership rooted in character rather than ego. It teaches that greatness is not defined by how many people follow you, but by how many people feel empowered because of you. His humble nature encourages everyone to believe that leadership isn't reserved for the privileged few. It can come from anyone who acts with kindness, integrity, and purpose. Through his humility, Joe Ranga proves that inspirational leadership does not come from commanding authority, but from earning respect. His example motivates others to lead with compassion, to listen with intention, and to act with empathy, qualities that strengthen communities and create leaders for generations to come. One of the most remarkable aspects of Joe Ranga's leadership is his unwavering belief that empowerment must be more than encouraging words. It must be supported by meaningful action. Joe understands that people do not gain confidence simply by being told they are capable. They gain strength when they are given opportunities, guidance, and the support needed to turn their potential into real progress. His approach to empowerment is practical, hands-on, and deeply rooted in the idea that every individual deserves the chance to rise. Joe refuses to let people underestimate themselves. When he meets someone who doubts their abilities, he doesn't just offer motivation. He helps them discover their strengths, guides them through challenges, and walks beside them until they feel confident enough to walk on their own. He believes that empowerment means building people up from within, showing them the skills they possess, and encouraging them to use those skills for personal and community growth. What makes Joe's method so powerful is that he focuses on small, consistent actions that create lasting confidence. Whether it's supporting local initiatives, encouraging young people to develop their talents, or assisting families in finding solutions to everyday challenges, Joe ensures that each step forward becomes a foundation for something greater. He pushes people to take responsibility for their futures, not by pressuring them, but by reminding them of their worth and their ability to make meaningful contributions. Joe also recognizes that empowerment thrives in an environment of trust and opportunity. Because of this, he actively creates spaces where individuals can express ideas, take on responsibilities, and explore possibilities without fear of failure. He helps them recognize that mistakes are part of growth and that every experience, whether successful or difficult, builds character and wisdom. This perspective allows people to step outside their comfort zones, knowing they have someone who believes in them. Moreover, Joe Ranga's leadership is grounded in the principle of shared effort. He doesn't carry the weight of progress alone. Instead, he invites people to join him, collaborate with him, and shape their futures alongside him. Through teamwork, guidance, and encouragement, he transforms ordinary individuals into confident contributors, giving them the assurance that their voices matter, their efforts matter, and their dreams matter. Joe's commitment to empowerment through action proves that real change does not come from speeches or promises alone. It comes from helping people unlock their potential and supporting them as they take bold steps forward. Through his leadership, he ignites a spark in individuals that grows into a powerful force for personal and community transformation. One of the most profound qualities that defines Joe Ranga is that his voice, his message, his mission, and his strength is shaped not by personal ambition, but by the experiences, struggles, and hopes of the people he represents. Unlike many leaders who speak from a distance, Joe speaks from within the heart of the community. His words carry authenticity because they are rooted in real stories, lived realities, and countless conversations with everyday individuals who trust him with their truths. Joe does not claim to know everything, nor does he pretend to have all the answers. Instead, he seeks wisdom from the people themselves. He believes that the community is the greatest source of insight, and that leaders must stay connected to the people they serve in order to remain grounded, compassionate, and effective. Every opinion he forms, every stance he takes, and every effort he undertakes is deeply influenced by the voices he hears and the emotions he witnesses. When someone shares their struggles with Joe, whether it's a worker trying to support their family, a student navigating challenges, or an elder worried about the future, he doesn't just listen. He absorbs their feelings, understands their fears, and carries their stories with him. These experiences shape his perspective and strengthen his commitment to stand for justice, fairness, and opportunity. His voice echoes with the pain of those who suffer and the dreams of those who hope for better days. Joe's ability to let the people shape his voice stems from his genuine humility and deep respect for every individual. He knows that leadership is not about imposing one's own ideas, but about amplifying the voices that often go unheard. He uses his platform to speak for those who feel voiceless, ensuring that their concerns are brought to light and their needs are addressed with urgency. His speeches and actions reflect a collective spirit, making people feel represented, acknowledged, and valued. What makes Joe's voice truly powerful is its inclusiveness. He does not focus only on the loudest voices or the most influential groups. He seeks out the quiet voices, the hidden stories, and the painful truths that often remain unspoken. By embracing every perspective, whether from youth, elders, workers, families, or marginalized individuals, he gives shape to a message that belongs to everyone, not just a select few. This connection between Joe and the people creates a bond built on trust and mutual respect. People feel that Joe speaks with them, not just for them. They see their reflections in his words and their aspirations in his actions. His voice becomes a collective force, one that carries the strength of unity, the courage of resilience, and the determination of a community that refuses to be ignored. Because Joe Ranga's voice is shaped by the people, it carries a truth that resonates deeply. It inspires individuals to stand together, to speak out, and to believe that their stories matter. His voice is not just his own, it is the voice of countless hearts woven into one powerful message, rising with purpose, passion, and integrity. A central pillar of Joe Ranga's mission is his unwavering commitment to fairness and equal opportunity for all. He believes that every individual, regardless of their background, financial status, or social standing, deserves a genuine chance to succeed. For Joe, equality is not merely a principle to be admired, it is a responsibility that must be actively protected and continually strengthened within every community he serves. Joe understands that true fairness is not achieved by treating everyone the same, but by ensuring that everyone has the support, resources, and opportunities they need to thrive. He sees the obstacles people face, the invisible barriers that limit growth, the lack of access to essential resources, and the unequal opportunities that keep certain voices from being heard. Instead of accepting these challenges as part of society, Joe works tirelessly to break them down piece by piece. His commitment to fairness is reflected in the way he engages with people. When someone shares their struggles, Joe does not dismiss them or offer empty sympathy. He examines the root cause, evaluates what support is missing, and aims to create pathways that level the playing field. Whether it is helping a young student find mentorship, supporting families seeking stability, or empowering workers who feel overlooked, Joe approaches every situation with empathy and determination. He also believes that fairness flourishes when communities stand together. Joe encourages people to support one another, to celebrate each other's successes, and to create an environment where uplifting others becomes the norm. He leads by example, offering guidance, resources, and encouragement to individuals who feel stuck or forgotten. Through his actions, he reminds people that fairness is not just the responsibility of leaders, but a shared commitment that strengthens the entire community. Joe's dedication to equal opportunity extends to every aspect of life. He supports education, knowing that knowledge opens doors. He stands for accessible resources, understanding that progress requires tools. He advocates for transparency because fairness requires honesty. And most importantly, he pushes for collaboration, uniting people from diverse backgrounds so that everyone, no matter who they are, can contribute to the community's growth. What truly sets Joe apart is his refusal to overlook any individual. He pays attention to those who feel invisible. He reaches out to those who are ignored. He unlocks potential in those who doubt themselves. His efforts are a reminder that fairness must be actively protected, that it is not guaranteed, but earned through compassion, understanding, and persistent action. Through his championing of fairness and equal opportunity, Joe Ranga builds a foundation where people can dream without limits and rise without fear. His vision is one in which every person's journey is respected, every effort is appreciated, and every dream has the chance to become reality. One of the most impactful aspects of Joe Ranga's influence is his deep commitment to guiding the next generation, nurturing young minds, encouraging their potential, and preparing them to become confident, responsible, and compassionate leaders of tomorrow. Joe understands that the strength of any community is shaped not only by what is accomplished today, but by the dreams, values, and direction passed on to the youth who will shape the future. His dedication to young people is not symbolic. It is practical, patient, and built upon a genuine belief that every young individual carries within them the spark of greatness waiting to be ignited. Joe approaches youth empowerment with the understanding that young people often face pressures, uncertainties, and challenges that can leave them unsure of their abilities. Instead of letting them navigate these challenges alone, he steps forward as a guide, someone who listens to them, believes in them, and helps them see their worth even when they doubt themselves. He recognizes their struggles not as weaknesses, but as stepping stones that help build resilience and character. Joe invests time in understanding the dreams of young individuals. He listens as they speak about their ambitions, their fears, and their hopes for the future. He sees each one not as a follower but as a future leader, capable of influencing others, solving problems, and contributing meaningfully to society. Through mentorship, encouragement, and thoughtful guidance, he helps them develop the confidence they need to pursue their goals wholeheartedly. He provides them with opportunities to grow, opportunities to learn, to lead, and to participate in meaningful activities that strengthen their sense of purpose. Joe believes that youth flourish when they are trusted with responsibility, encouraged to share their ideas, and supported as they explore new paths. He promotes an environment where young people feel safe to express themselves, where their voices matter, and where their ideas are valued, regardless of how small or bold they may seem. Joe also teaches the next generation the importance of values, integrity, kindness, effort, humility, and unity. He knows that skills are important, but strong values are what shape a true leader. He emphasizes that leadership is not defined by authority, but by character, empathy, and the willingness to uplift others. Through his actions, he shows young people that greatness comes not from seeking recognition, but from serving with honesty and determination. His influence extends beyond words. He engages youth in community projects, encourages them to support one another, and inspires them to believe that they can create real change. He pushes them to look beyond limitations, to embrace challenges, and to see themselves as active builders of a brighter, stronger future. Through his dedication, Joe Ranga becomes more than a mentor. He becomes a guiding light for the next generation. He reminds them that their dreams are valid, their voices are powerful, and their potential is limitless when nurtured with care, support, and belief. Another remarkable aspect of Joe Ranga's life and work is his ability to inspire a lasting legacy of community involvement and social responsibility. Joe does not view leadership as a temporary position or a personal achievement. For him, it is a lifelong commitment to creating an environment where people recognize their duty to each other and take meaningful action to improve the world around them. His vision extends beyond immediate results. It is about instilling a culture of responsibility, care, and engagement that can endure for generations. Joe demonstrates that social responsibility begins with awareness and empathy. He encourages individuals to see beyond their personal concerns and understand the challenges faced by others in their community. Whether it is addressing inequality, supporting the underprivileged, or advocating for sustainable development, Joe emphasizes that each person has a role to play in shaping a better society. He inspires people to take ownership of their surroundings, to contribute positively, and to take pride in collective achievements. What makes Joe's influence so profound is that he combines inspiration with tangible action. He doesn't simply talk about responsibility, he models it through his own deeds. He participates in community initiatives, organizes support for those in need, and creates opportunities for others to engage meaningfully. By leading through example, he demonstrates that small, consistent actions can accumulate into significant, lasting change. Joe also fosters a sense of shared accountability. He encourages communities to work together to solve problems, support one another, and hold themselves to higher standards. By cultivating collaboration and mutual respect, he ensures that social responsibility is not just an individual effort, but a collective movement. People feel motivated to act because they see the positive impact of their contributions and the genuine care that Joe brings to the work. Furthermore, Joe inspires future leaders to carry forward the values of service and responsibility. Through mentorship, guidance, and encouragement, he equips others with the tools, knowledge, and confidence to continue his mission long after his direct involvement. He emphasizes that a true legacy is not measured by personal recognition, but by the lasting improvements made to communities and the enduring culture of care, respect, and proactive engagement that he helps cultivate. Joe Ranga's dedication to community and social responsibility demonstrates that leadership is most meaningful when it extends beyond oneself. By inspiring people to act for the common good, he creates ripples of positive change that touch countless lives. His example teaches that every individual has the capacity to contribute, that every effort counts, and that when people embrace their responsibility to each other, communities can flourish, challenges can be overcome, and hope can be sustained for generations to come. You said. Ladies and gentlemen, as we reflect on the remarkable journey of Joe Ranga, it becomes clear that his legacy is not measured merely by words or accolades, but by the lives he has touched, the communities he has strengthened, and the hope he has ignited in countless hearts. He teaches us that leadership is more than a position. It is a responsibility, a commitment, and a promise to stand for what is just, to uplift those in need, and to empower others to believe in their own potential. Joe Ranga's story reminds us that one voice, when guided by purpose, compassion, and integrity, can inspire a movement, unite people, and shape a brighter future. May we all carry forward his example, listening to one another, serving with sincerity, and standing together to create communities where every voice matters, every dream is nurtured, and every person feels empowered to make a difference. In honoring Joe Ranga, we honor the spirit of unity, hope, and unwavering service, the qualities that define not just a leader but a true voice of the people.